Welcome to our first meeting. Feel free to use the chat box for questions and comments and just to say hello. Great to see you here with us on our first meeting. Really, really exciting. If you could add where you're from as well, and how's the weather? Is it cold? Is it warm? And anything else you'd like to add? So it really, really excites me to introduce this course. It's different from past courses. It officially starts tomorrow, as you can see, July 1st. But since we're going to have our live meetings on Sundays, I thought we could start on June 30th. So here we are. I started with WebQuests in 2003. And I started teaching WebQuests at around about the same time, both face-to-face and online. And a lot has changed on the internet since then, and we'll be talking about that. So what are WebQuests? Well, we all know that they're connected to the internet in some way because the name gives it away. It's a web quest, but many have used the term in very different ways. So if you could just add in the chat, what is a web quest for you? And every answer is correct, because whatever you think is perfectly fine. So if you could add that in the chat, that would be great. And don't say it's a web quest, a quest on the web, because I'm sure it's a lot more than that for you. So I'm looking at the chat to see if you've added anything. So we've got winter in the Southern Hemisphere, Mozambique. So it's winter, sunny, and perfect. Argentina, it must be winter as well. In Italy, it's pretty hot, but bearable. I'm glad to hear that. And how's the weather in China, where you are, since China is a huge country? So what is a web quest? Just write a word or two that comes to mind besides web quest, something else that you can think of. So we've got learning tasks that lead students to a final learning product. Thank you. And it's a different way to get information. Nice. Very nice, in fact, a nice way of looking at it. Guided internet exploration. Thank you for adding the guided cooperative learning too. And it's a gamification strategy, nice, that maximizes users' initiative in choosing the learning pathway. Nice, really nice answers, wonderful. And it's hot, okay, where you are in China. So thank you for your answers. Feel free to keep adding if you think of something else, that's perfectly fine. So yes, computer devices, mobile, and desktops are involved, as well as the internet. But it's not only the internet. You can do this actually with one computer in a classroom, or maybe one or a few smartphones in the classroom. So it's really great for all learners and all areas, even when technology is limited. So the WebQuest, it's ideal, as you mentioned, cooperative, collaborative learning project. You did mention the word project. And I've been offering this free online course, I think, since 2006 online. See if we can move on. A little bit about me. And you can see that I've added my new photo with my new look, so to speak. And we'll see how that goes. I'm Canadian, and I've been using technology. I'm not sure that I'm an expert because I think everyone is really an expert in their own way, but I've been using technology in face-to-face and fully online programs since, I guess, the early 1990s. And I've been offering free professional development to educators around the globe. When I found out that many schools were not offering this, and I thought it would be a good idea to get everyone, to get educators involved and learning together. So that was my initial goal, and I think it's working quite well. I call myself relationship-based because I think that as an English language teacher, mostly, that's what we do. We communicate and we try to get our students involved with each other, not just with us, and of course with the content. I've been teaching various topics besides EFL or ESL, both in high school and higher education. I've had courses in listening and mindfulness, as well as leadership courses, fully online at Atlantic University, and face-to-face academic writing at Teachers College, face-to-face, and English for academic purposes, to teaching administrators how to use a server and install Moodle, and how to use Moodle as admin, teachers, and managers. I'm currently the past chair of TESOL Call IS, Computer Assisted Language Learning, and faculty at Immersive Technologies IMT MSc program at Democritus University of Thrace in Greece. And it's fully online because I'm not based in Greece. So here we are, 2024, with AI-generated WebQuest. Life has truly become, for teachers and for learners, and teachers are learners, we all know that, has become very, very exciting because we can save a lot of time by generating WebQuests with AI tools. And I created a tool just for that, to make teachers' lives a lot easier by using this free online ChatGPT tool. The course is a 4-week course. How many of you, by the way, have registered, are there in the course? Let me know in the chat. I'm looking at it now. Let me know. Not sure if I have. I think I recognize your name. You should be able to see yourself in the course. If someone can add the link to the course in the chat box, that would be great. And then you can see if you're in there or not. Okay, Ada, I think. And Giovanna has. Okay, so who is going to volunteer to get that link, since I don't have it on my mouse and I'm screen sharing? We will be going there very soon, but in the meantime, so that you can register, you need to fill in an application form so that I know that you're serious about this, and I'm sure educators are serious. Okay, thank you, Valley, for adding that. So it consists of an orientation, which is very brief. It's mostly reading and filling in one form. If you filled in the form before, you don't have to fill it in again, since it's the same form that I've been using for the past, I think, 6 months. Next is a Let's Get Acquainted, and you can start tomorrow. You can't start today because the course officially opens on July 1st. But there are 3 ways that you can introduce yourself. How many of you are familiar with Voki, avatar, as a way to introduce yourself, or DID, or Hey Jen? Actually, my favorite now is Hey Jen. I think you're going to like it. It's similar to DID, but not quite the same, and a little freer. Okay, so you're familiar with Voki. What about DID or Hey Jen? Hey Jen is quite a name for something that consists of adding a photo. And I suggest you get a full, not just a headshot, but a full photo of yourself. It could be any period of time. It could be in the past if you'd like, or you traveling or anywhere. Oh, so you're familiar. Wonderful, Mariella. You're familiar with Hey Jen as well. So maybe you can try DID if you haven't tried that before. Yeah, Lucia. Hey Jen is lovely, really nice. So you're going to introduce yourself. You're also going to take a teaching perspectives inventory. If you've taken this before, and I have taken it very often, it's always different. So take it again. If it's the end of the year for you and you're starting your summer vacation, it's a good time to reflect. And if it's winter where you are, it's also a very good time to reflect as you go into the rest of the year. And then you'll be using the ChatGPT WebQuest wizard that I created using ChatGPT. By the way, have you tried ChatGPT 4.0? Let me know in the chat. ChatGPT 4.0. It's completely free. Do not use 3.5 because you won't be able to get all the plugins. And I think that they have covered all countries. I know they were limiting it to some countries, but I think no, it's not paid. It's completely free. And that's where you'll be able to find ChatGPT WebQuest Wizard, and you'll be able to explore and find other GPTs. GPTs are like plugins or applications, apps, very similar. Yeah, it's been free for a long time in many countries, but not all countries. So I think right now it's available in every country. And that's really exciting because you're getting more current information and lots of plugins, GPTs. So these are the links. This presentation is available in the course. There's also 1, 2, 3 related to AI-generated WebQuests, and the other 2 that I mentioned. Right, so let's get into I think I just jumped here into the chat, into what a WebQuest is. Learners need a lot of things. For example, if you could add in the chat, what do learners need? Your learners. You as a learner, in fact. You can think of yourself or your learners, yourself now, yourself in the past. What do learners need? So I'm looking at the chat, but for some reason it's huge. I know 4.0 is not paid, it's free. You'll have to use a VPN, I think. Otherwise, it might not work in China, at least 4.0. Okay, so exactly, and it's free, yes. But you can look it up. You can just say 4.0 free and then find out that it's free. So what do learners need? They need guidance, nurturing, and stimuli. They need a safe place, both online, of course, and face-to-face. Very good point. What else do they need? Anything else that they need? All right, so let's see. Methods, tools to feel connected. Yay. Right, you're in the right place. They need to get information through questions. They need to ask questions. And today with prompts, they call them prompts, but they're actually questions or comments. They need to simulate inquiry and exploration. They need to explore or have the option to explore. They need to have access to facts. And today, access to facts is really, really fast. It's no longer the internet, it's AI, generative AI, and it's super fast. They need to have knowledge and wisdom. So it's not just facts, but it's what you do with the facts. Guidance, as you mentioned, they need to select. So they need to have choices, evaluate, be critical thinkers, apply, organize the information, synthesize the information, and communicate ideas. But with all that, we need information. What else do they need? They need time. We all need time because for learning, time is very important. And how do we manage our time? I'm sure you've all thought about this in the past, about time. What do we generally say about time? What do you say when it comes to time? If I ask you, what comes to mind when you think of time? Yes, they need to know about their world, their environment, exactly. So time, how do you feel about time? Time management is my foremost worry. I do not have enough time. Okay, so again, not enough time in the classroom. So managing time in the classroom, but only in the classroom? Okay, so time management. Some people hate time because they hate to be rushed. Why do I have to rush all the time? Why can't things go at my pace? Why do I have to run after time all the time? Okay, so some of us have very negative, yeah, time, rush, last minute, stick to a time schedule. And there are lots of apps for these things. I don't know if you're using them, but many people do because there's always a time zone, a timeline. There's always something that we need to finish within a lot of time. We don't have the freedom. So time is a huge problem. It's a challenge. So they need time to watch, to ponder, to wonder, time to really look around, as you mentioned, take a look at their environment, to be present, to look around, to explore, to question, to search. Do your students have time for this? To explore, question, search, to watch, to wonder? Or it's all quick, 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 a quick, a quick fix for everything. To create, it takes time. They need opportunities, choices, and choices are really important, and alternatives. Not to have them do one thing and one thing only, but to have choices. I see someone raise their hand. If you have a question, can you add it in the chat for now? And then I'll give you a chance to speak later on, okay? So for now, just add it in the chat and we'll get to it later. They need to be able to explore, and we all know this, but how much time do we devote in class for exploration, for questions? They need time to try things out and fail if necessary, it's fine, but to try to travel. Okay, now traveling costs money, there are expenses involved, but traveling is very, very important to the brain. If you can't travel overseas, at least walk around your neighborhood, move around, very important for the brain, by the way, and interact not only with the environment, but also with others who are out there. They need tools. And you mentioned tools. Thank you for mentioning them. Tools, resources, technologies, material for physical and mental work. Now, generally, we don't think of this in the classroom. We think of physical material like books and technologies like maybe laptops, smartphones, computers, books, physical things. But what about mental work? And experience. They need to experience things. I mean, what's the point of regurgitating, learning content, information, and then just taking a test and hopefully passing it and not remembering anything because they haven't really experienced it? So to have practical, meaningful, and active participation to experience everything. And of course, varied activities so that they can engage with it. Something that suits only one person in the classroom or two of the majority is not good enough. Each one has to have personalized learning just for them. And it may suit others too, but they should have a chance to learn their way. And social engagement, team-based, collaborative, peer learning. Peer learning, if you're not familiar with it, it's when students learn from one another. And sometimes students actually teach one another. What else do they need? Motivation. I remember talking to teachers where motivation was the big deal. I don't hear it so much anymore these days. Nobody seems to say it anymore. We're saying other things, but we're not using the word motivation. But yes, they need motivation. Self-directed autonomy, teacher-supportive learning. How will they get motivation if we tell them what to do or we let it come from them? Relevant and meaningful, authentic activities are very, very important. They have to make sense to them, not to us, but to our students, whatever age they are. And we need to model as teachers, positive, supportive, enthusiastic, and we all are very enthusiastic, I know. And strategies, they need to have strategies. They don't know how to do things, and you mentioned guidance. That's so important. Techniques to cope with their strengths and their weaknesses. I mean, coping mechanisms, mental coping mechanisms are very important. We can't separate the two. It's not just about facts and information. It's a lot more than that. And opportunities. They need to know how to cope. And everyone will cope in their own way. So giving advice is not going to do it. So that is why the WebQuest is important. Because through the WebQuest, you will be able to add everything that students need. And you don't have to create one WebQuest for each class. You can create a few WebQuests with the AI-generated WebQuest wizard. It'll be a lot easier. You can create for teams. You can create a few WebQuests. So it's not one anymore. And why use a WebQuest in school, for example, or as a private teacher tutoring school or private, public, is because school stakeholders, parents, teachers, principals, the community are concerned about students' unguided use of the internet. How are they using their smartphones, their apps, websites? How are they using these? Do they know that they can actually learn? Well, it's up to us to provide guided use of the internet. And now it's guided use of AI tools, which is also part of the internet, of course. Effective use of the internet in the classroom is a reason to use a WebQuest, but not only. Now, the WebQuest has a few parts, and these are very, very important. Are you familiar with the building blocks that make up a WebQuest? Let me know in the chat if you're familiar. Maybe you remember one block. Yes, there are a lot of apps, and they could be very confusing, and students can spend a lot of time and waste a lot of time, just as everyone else, instead of being directed to where they need to go. So you're not familiar? You're not familiar. Wonderful. I'm glad. All right. So let's start with the building blocks, and maybe you'll remember. So the first one is introduction, where you introduce the topic. We'll take a look at them. Each week, we'll focus on a few. And then there's the task, the process, resources, evaluation, and conclusion. These are the main parts of a WebQuest. The WebQuest was created in 1996 by Bernie Dodge, Professor Bernie Dodge, who is currently retired. But we also add other parts, such as teacher's page and a credit page as well. WebQuests offer opportunities, but there are lots of challenges. But as we all know, challenges become opportunities. So let's take a look at some of these. First of all, they're done by teams. Students don't do them alone. That's not the idea. The idea is teamwork, to work together, where each member of the team has a role, a very specific role, and together they make up one project while they work on it together. It's collaborative, cooperative, as was mentioned, and there's lots of critical thinking skills. Now, I want to remind you that thinking skills start with making decisions. Deciding on a team is not easy. There's a lot involved, and the process is very, very important. There's self-discovery, an opportunity for self-directed learning, self-paced, so you don't have to work quickly. You can make it as long as you wish. The WebQuest could be a month long. It could be a couple of months. Inquiry-based. The duration, as I mentioned, could be short-term, which could be 1 or 2 lessons. I don't recommend that. It's too short. Unless you have a lesson a week, maybe, and that it would go on for 3 weeks. The short term is 1 or 2 or 3 lessons, knowledge acquisition and integration, but it's not enough because there's a lot of information involved and it takes time to process that. So the long term, a month or more is recommended with an instructional goal. And then there's lots of time to expand students' knowledge, refine the knowledge, and the learner can analyze a large body of knowledge, which is very, very important, and transform it. And this way demonstrate understanding. Thinking skills. What kind of thinking skills are involved? And notice, if you think it's difficult to create a WebQuest, it'll be very easy with a wizard, with a WebQuest wizard. So no worries. All you need to think is of a topic based, and we'll get to that in a minute. So comparing, classifying, inducing, deducing, analyzing errors, which is super important, especially in language learning, but in other areas as well. Constructing support, because they will be supporting one another. Abstraction and analyzing perspectives. These are the benefits. And opportunities for learning are the following: structure, technology, control, confidence, organized, engage, class management, creative, critical thinking, and problem solving. These are the skills that students will be developing. Some of the challenges, just like in any other method, there's fear. Now, fear is a very, very important part of any kind of learning. If we embrace it, really, really important to embrace fear. There's always fear of change and of doing something for the first time, because we want to stay with the familiar. I don't want to try this. And by the way, you'll find that students, even young learners, especially 14 to 16-year-olds, have fears about anything new in the classroom. They just, can't we just do the old, I can't work on a team. I'm afraid to work on a team. I don't want to work on it. All kinds of fears that you'll find. Teachers also have fears. I've never done this before. How can I do something I've never done before? So fear is a huge part. Embrace it, look at it. You can discuss it in the classroom. You can even express that you have fear. This is something new. You've never done it before. And talk about fear. Talk about how it feels to do something new. Self-criticism. Topic. Is this the right topic? Did I choose the right task? Is this what I really want to do? Maybe I don't. The technology. These are all challenges. The platform. What platform will I use for my WebQuest? Is it suitable? Is it not? And time, of course. I'm always in a hurry. I don't have time for anything like this. These are all concerns and challenges that teachers and learners face. And being criticized by others, what will they say? Maybe they won't like it. Maybe they won't like me anymore. So we are vulnerable when it comes to doing anything for the first time. And you're out there, you're exposing yourself to your students, to parents, to the school, to other teachers. Okay, so there's always that vulnerability, and we lose our confidence, of course. And this happens to all of us to some extent. We're all human. And as humans, we all face these things. Plus, there are broken links. This link didn't work. So there are technological issues as well. And making choices is not easy. And sometimes we don't want to face it. And taking an online course. Now, you're going to be taking this online course. By the way, how many of you have taken online courses in the past and are familiar with them? And how many are not? And when I say online course, I don't mean Zoom. This is not an online course. This is a meeting where I speak at you. And right now you don't have much to do because I'm in charge. That is not an online course. So some of you have not. Well, an online course, first of all, it's on a learning management system. And there is fear of taking an online course if it's the first time. And it's understandable. You've never seen it before. I mean, we do fear what we're not familiar with. It's very natural. And self-criticism, what will they think if you write an answer? Because online courses are based on a lot of text and a lot of writing. What if I make a mistake? What if they don't like what I said? What if I sound stupid? I mean, all these things go through our minds. So self-criticism, again, the same issues that we face when we do something for the first time. The fear of being vulnerable. I guess that would sum it up. We're using a Moodle platform. If you could add in the chat, if you've used Moodle, say yes, Moodle, or yes, M. Moodle is a long word. Yes, M, if you've used Moodle before. If not, no M, no Moodle. So yes or no, yes, M. Okay, lots of yeses there. Some of you have taken courses with me, so I know that you're here and I'm happy that you've joined. I was excited. Yes, M. Okay, great, wonderful. And I believe that M is available around the world. Moodle. Moodle is available around the globe. It's available everywhere, where maybe YouTube is not, and maybe, I don't even know if Zoom is. You don't need a VPN to use Moodle. It's available everywhere. That's right. We're afraid of the unknown. So we are vulnerable. I put that in twice. And logging in could be an issue, but I fixed it so it's no longer an issue. Confidence and the internet and making choices, same things as in the classroom. So the layout of Moodle course. There are topic sections in a Moodle course. There are messaging systems. There is a lot of reading in an online course. I mean, I don't mean lots of reading like textbook reading. I mean, lots of text that you need to read. It could be even on the slides, there is text. So there's text out there to read. And I think that's a good thing for our students if you're an English language teacher or a language teacher. Zoom, there'll be Zoom in the Moodle course, and there are blocks. And by blocks, I mean there's something on the left, something in the middle, and something on the right. And I'll take you through the course so you get an idea of what it looks like. There's a progress bar on the right where you can see your progress. There's gamification with level up. There are badges that you will see. And there are lots of support forms for questions. You can also set it up to show your time, but you need to go into your profile in order to do that. And of course, at the end, you get a certificate with the duration of the course and the time. These are some of the tools that you'll be using to showcase your work. They're all available. These are called screen recorders. By the way, how many of you have used screen recorder, did not use screen recorder? Oh, there are a lot of badges. You'll see in a minute, how many badges there are, a lot more than 4. Yes, there's screen recorder, Bubbles, Screencastify, Movavi, Screen Capture, Canva, Padlet, Vid, Panopto, Vimeo, Loom, Edpuzzle, Flip, a lot of them. Awesome ScreenPal. Yeah, that used to be Screencast-O-Matic. And the platforms and ChatGPT. You'll be creating WebQuests using createwebquest.com, Zunal, and WebQuest Wizard. We'll be talking about that in week 1. And these are the badges. Notice how many. There's one for the orientation, one for the introduction, one for the task for each parts of, there are 9 altogether. So lots of badges. And of course, there's a date on them in different colors. And that's the final certificate. Your name will appear. My question is, do you want your name in black or in red? Or another color, maybe? Just curious. Black, font, red, green. Black. Okay, I think that's more professional, but sometimes I add red. Okay. If you want another color, let me know and I'll make sure that you get the color of your choice. Okay, but that's for later on. So that's a certificate of completion. This is the WebQuest wizard that you'll be using. That's a link there that you'll be using, and these other references that I've added for you that you can go through because this is available. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to let you speak as I go through the site. So let me stop screen sharing to make it easier. And then I will give you voice so you can speak, if I can do it through here. There, so you can unmute yourself. Okay, and ask your questions. And I'm going to go through the course itself. As a student, so you can see what it looks like. So this is the actual course. Let me turn that off. This is what you will see. The link, let me get the link for you. I'll add that in the chat once again, in case you haven't. I think we've got 27 participants right now. So if you haven't joined yet, you're welcome. There's the link. And there is an application, as I said before. So there's the orientation. Notice it's in black right now because that's where I am. The font is black. And you can see that there are a few things here, a few videos to watch. The support forum will be available after this Zoom meeting. I'll open it so you can start asking questions. And then about the WebQuest, there's information here about the WebQuest. And I see some have already gone in there. Very good. And the live meetings will be, as I mentioned, on Sundays at the same time as today. There is the time. You can check your time zone. Okay, and there you need to register. And there's a form here where you can add your input or ask questions about the Zoom meetings. There are 4. This was the first. And then we go through the introduction, as I mentioned before. Okay, there's the introduction with a video showcasing the course. So you'll be able to watch that. And then these are all discussion forums. They will all open tomorrow. So everything's going to open tomorrow. You have one day to digest this, watch this, the recording. I'll share that with you in a minute. The link to the recording, it's on YouTube. And then you go through the task in week 2. Week 3, you're going to go through, week 2, you're going to go through the process as well. And there's explanations on the process and the resources. So you're going to go through 3 sections: the task, the process, and the resources in week 2. In week 3, you're going to go through evaluation, conclusion, and credits. And then week 4 is the showcase. The certificate of completion, notice it is now closed, so you can't really see it, but it'll be available once you complete all the tasks. If you go to the left, you'll be able to see that it's locked right now. It'll open up, everything will open up tomorrow, including let's go to the top, except for the orientation. Notice the orientation. Once you do it, you'll see that the circle will be filled in green, in a green color. Once you watch these, and then here, there's also a circle that will be filled in after you do that. This is the presentation that I'm using in week 1. Notice it coincides. So if I click on the introduction, I will go into the introduction presentation, which is what I showed you before. Okay, this is it. Let me close that up. And then I'm back here again. How do I go back? I can go back and forth using the left. It's called a course index, or I can go to the middle and go back to week 1. There we go. Now I'm in week 1. On the right, as I mentioned, let me go to the bottom. You will see a completion progress. Notice the light blue is what I've done, and the royal blue is what I still need to do. These are the participants that are currently online. There's the level up gaming. Every time you do something, you get a level up. Your badges will appear here. That's our live meeting. Notice this is my time zone. In order to get the right time in your time zone, you need to go into your profile. To learn more about that, you will learn about it in the orientation week, okay? Or it's right now, it's just a section. Here is edit your profile video. And the information, once you watch this video, you'll also learn about to set your time zones. So the video talks about how to edit your profile, how to add your country, unless it's already there, and your time zone. And this is really important. You do it by going to the top right and then into preferences. Under preferences, you will see everything, but you watch this video and you'll get that information. So now you can unmute yourselves and ask questions. Are there any questions? I think you can, let me know in the chat if you can unmute yourself, because maybe not, maybe I'm wrong.
Yes, I was able to do it. And
Great.
I
Nice
have
to
no
hear your
question
voice.
now. Maybe later I will have, but now everything is okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. So feel free to use the support forms for questions. Every question is brilliant because it's yours. So it's important. Anyone else have any comments or questions? All right. So feel free to use the support forms for questions. I love questions because I'm a teacher, and teachers love questions, right? I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like, any teacher who doesn't like questions. Okay, I'm glad it's clear, and I'm looking forward to it. You know what? Maybe I'll open it today because, you know, since you came and everything. So maybe I'll stay tuned. I'll open everything today so that you don't have to wait till tomorrow if you're excited and you want to start. All right. You'll be getting your certificate right after this Zoom meeting ends. And you'll be getting a certificate for each of the Zoom meetings that you attend. So you'll not only get a certificate for completing the course, but you'll get a certificate for each Zoom meeting that you attend. So have a wonderful week, and see you online.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming.
See you. Bye-bye. Wonderful session.
Thank you.
See you. See you, Nelly.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.